Thanks for being here on British News. I'm Amanda Huggingkiss. We're taking you through to the breaking news that
the United States has invaded the UK.
It's those bloody Americans again.
Keir Starmer captured and arrested, and Donald Trump has now been crowned King of Britain.
This is your new king. I'll be speaking to you today in American, a language you'll all be learning very quickly. I want to reassure you, this transition will be calm, orderly, and extremely legal.
Would you urge the United States government not to abduct any other foreign leaders?
Look, I'm not going to answer hypothetical questions.
You won't urge the United States government not to abduct other foreign leaders?
We think the rules-based order matters and that people should comply with international law. When an operation like this is...
You're not making an assessment as to whether or not you think it has complied with international law?
Because it's for the Americans to set out the basis of the legal basis on which they did the operation, and then for international courts or the UN Security Council to take a view. I'm not trying to dodge the question, Lewis. All I'm saying is this is the way the rules-based order works. It's not for an individual state to judge international law. It's for the international courts to do so. In order for a rules-based
order to work, surely it's important on those who believe in the rules-based order to point to people who break the rules-based order and say, you've broken it, not just to dodge it because they're friends of ours.
For sure, but we're not the international court, we're the UK government.
No,
the international court
we're supposed
exists.
to be an important country.
Yeah, we are. And we're
you don't sound like an important country. You don't sound like you're speaking for an important country, Chief Secretary. You sound like you're speaking on behalf of a supplicant country who's afraid of a bigger country.
I disagree with that assessment. We are following the proper process that any government would follow.
If this were Russia, if this were China, if this was anywhere else in the world, we would be the first out the traps, first out the gate saying, this is disgraceful, we condemn it. You know that, I know that.
As I say, we need to see the legal basis for the operation that was undertaken.
And now for something completely different.
Hola amigos, yo soy su nuevo presidente, el señor Donald J. Trump. Your ex-presidente, el señor Maduro, is no longer your presidente. He kept talking shit, you know, and fucking around, though, and he ultimately found out, though. Anyway, we're going to make Venezuela grande again. Mucho grande. El bigger y el better than ever before. Y let's make el Venezuela grande again. Arriba el Venezuela, amigos.
Mr. Trump yesterday said that the United States would now run Venezuela until it decides to do otherwise.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. Our current strategy of nation building and regime change is a proven absolute failure.
I think we used to have a name for that. Colonialism. Are we now in favour of colonialism?
We're not in favour of colonialism, and we're not entirely clear yet what President Trump meant by those comments yesterday.
No, he's pretty clear. He says, we're in charge until we decide otherwise.
Sure, but it's for the Americans now and for Venezuela to set out what happens in the coming days. As the Prime Minister said yesterday, we shouldn't make assumptions or guess what might happen next in certain hypothetical scenarios.
We don't have to make any assumption. President Trump has been pretty clear. He said, we are going to run Venezuela. We will decide when we can stop running Venezuela and pass on power in his word was, judicious way. It's pretty clear. We must have a view on that, surely.
But we don't know the shape, the timescale, the details of that. And as I say, we don't know yet.
So colonialism is all right as long as it's in the right form?
No, that's not what I said. All I said is...
Well, it is what you said.
No, it's not what I said. What I said is we don't know the details yet of what's happening in Venezuela.
Has the Prime Minister decided yet whether President Trump has breached international law?
Well, this is complex.
And France have been absolutely categorical. They say that Donald Trump has violated international law over the weekend. Why can't Keir Starmer be decisive one way or the other?
Well, Keir Starmer's been really clear that we do respect international law. It's important to give the Americans the opportunity to lay out its legal basis for what it's done. Without that, it's difficult to come to a legal conclusion.
Dame Emily Thornberry, one of your own MPs, a senior figure within the Labour Party. She's chair of the Commons Foreign Affairs Select Committee. She's told the BBC overnight, I think in the end there is no getting away from it. This is not a legal action by the United States. So is she wrong? I mean, she's a lawyer, isn't she, like Keir Starmer?
Very much doubt she's seen the legal basis laid out by the United States. That's what we need to see. And I'm sure the right decision will be made at the right time, and you'll be made aware of that.
Our viewers waking up this morning, getting across what's happened over the weekend, they might be rather surprised that the UK government hasn't got a firm position on this.
Look, it's not for us to jump to conclusions.
Condemn it then.
We've been very clear that the rules-based order matters, international law matters, and should be complied with. We act in that way in the United Kingdom, and we expect other countries to do so around the world.
So why not condemn it then?
Well, there's a question about international law. That's a question for international courts. It's not for ministers of a particular country to provide judgment on that.
And yet, an American Republican congressman called out Trump whilst the British government refused.
Liberty dissolves. If the president believes military action against Venezuela is justified and needed, he should make the case and Congress should vote before American lives and treasure are spent on regime change in South America. Let's be honest about likely outcomes. Do we truly believe that Nicolas Maduro will be replaced by a modern-day George Washington? How did that work out in Cuba, Libya, Iraq, or Syria? Previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, that did not exist. Now it's the same playbook, except we're told that drugs are the WMDs. If it were about drugs, we'd bomb Mexico or China or Colombia, and the president would not have pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. This is about oil and regime change. And when it comes to regime change, we've already been down this road with Venezuela with nothing to show for it. In 2019, we recognized Juan Guaido. We seized their embassy here in D.C. We were told that regime change was imminent. Years later, Maduro remains in power. Today, we're told to place our hopes in other exiled figures. Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado. I wish them well, I do. But Congress should not express moral sympathy in the form of a blank check for military escalation and American lives. And let's take a moment to acknowledge the contradiction at the heart of this policy. This administration tells us that the Maduro regime is made up of narco-terrorists, and by escalating toward war, we would predictably create countless refugees. At the same time, this administration has moved to end temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans and deports them back to the very regime it condemns. So which is it? Are we prepared to receive swarms of the 25 million Venezuelans who will likely become refugees and billions in American treasure that will be used to destroy and inevitably rebuild that nation? Do we want a miniature Afghanistan in the Western Hemisphere? If that cost is acceptable to this Congress, then we should vote on it as a voice of the people and in accordance with our Constitution. And yet today, here we aren't even voting on whether to declare war or authorize the use of military force. All we're voting on is a war powers resolution that strengthens the fabric of our republic by reasserting the plain and simple language in the Constitution that Congress must decide questions of war.
Cuba?
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah, the Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble, yes. I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire, internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Dulce Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure there are no traitors, those are all Cubans.
All right.
Greenland?
We need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
Or maybe we will be the 51st state after all. I'm Amanda Hugginkiss, and this has been Political X.
I've got something special at the end, but if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy my book, Manufactured Fear, available on Amazon. Now, I don't plan to do more AI videos, but if they come up, I will. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. And as ever, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon YouTube subscribers. You keep this channel going and growing.
America first, Australia sucks, your reef is failing, prepare to go to war.
Hola, Presidente Nieto.
Guy who's gonna pay for the wall says what?
Okay.
No, guy who's gonna pay for the wall says what?
Okay.
No, you have to say what?
You said what? You're going to pay for the wall.
No way. You pay, loser, you're a bad hombre. Here come our tanks, prepare to go to war.
Hello?
Zimbabwe, there's a new sheriff in town.
Wait, is this Donald Trump?
Yes.
You think you're a big tough dictator? I will rip out your spine and drink from your skull. You cannot even walk downstairs, you little white bitch.